you're on the way.
Bum 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 ba-dum bum 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 ba-da-da-dum bum bum ba-dum ba-ba-dum bum 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 ba-dum bum 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 ba-da-da-dum bum bum ba-dum ba-ba-dum dun 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 bum ba da dum ba dun 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 ba dun dun ba dun 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 dun. Hello, my friends. Good evening. It's Monday night. Doesn't matter whether it's Memorial Day or what day it is other than Monday, it's still Monday night. And it's 8 o'clock Eastern time. And where are we supposed to be? Right here. Hi, Harry. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Joette Calabrese, and I'm here every Monday night at 8 o'clock Eastern time to do one thing and one thing only, and that is to talk homeopathy. For me to teach you what I know and help you understand so great to see you. I love to see your name. Good. You and you. I promise you, we're going to talk from you know when that I deal with for this particular condition. And so, hi everyone. If you watched the video on Mighty Side, it was okay. Yeah, and I want to tell you that if you are a Mighty, you might want to go. If you're a Mighty member of mine, you should go to the Mighty site because I once in a while offer extra information for those who have joined my Mighties in the last, I think we've been around for about 2.5 years now. So, hello from Ontario, and howdy from Wyoming, and St. Louis, and Rhode Island. You bet. Hello from Aubrey, Texas, and from Southern Illinois. It's wonderful to see everyone. Just loving it. Now, am I breaking up? Cutting in and out, Joe. We're in and out, Perry. Something's going on. It doesn't look bad to me. It looks actually quite good to me. So I'm not sure I know what the problem is here. Hello from Kentucky. Harry from hi Joe hi Perry. Hi Mighties. Happy Memorial Day from Hilton. So how is it going now, my friends? Can you hear me? Are we still breaking up? Let me know how it's doing. And we're just going to keep going, even though, sounds great. Thank you, Jennifer. Sound is great now. Good, good, good. Sound is good now. Better now. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. So let's talk about this post, you know what, that has been causing people some trouble. And I want to tell you that the remedies are not that different than they would be for any post flu, post virus of this sort. I don't find them to be any different. I would love to say that we know exactly one medicine, but I'm going to tell you instead there are a couple of different ones, and I'm going to work on those that I believe need to be most emphasized. Now, it doesn't mean by any stretch of the imagination that what I tell you tonight is the only way to do this. There are many ways to crack this egg. And so I'm going to tell you that the most common medicine that most homeopaths know, and those of you who have been studying homeopathy, I bet you know, right? is that the most common remedy that we use for fatigue that is that remains or even commences at the around the time that the illness is backing off, not completely, but just a little bit. The most common remedy that we use for that is, I bet many of you know, right? No, we're not talking about post jab. It's a whole different subject. We're talking about just plain old fatigue from a specific illness. And what is the illness? It's a virus, just about any virus. And the remedy, let's see if anyone knows what the remedy is the first one that we're going to talk about. Hello from San Francisco. Thank you for the comments about my purple. I never wear purple, and I just got this dress and I love it. So, you got it. Viviana, my dear, gelsemium. Jillian, gelsemium. Phosphoric acid is another good one. Yes, that was going to be my second choice. Actually, my third choice. Gelsemium. It has been known by homeopaths of days of old, from the 1700s, the 1800s, the 1900s, and now someone has fatigue, particularly fatigue, during the convalescence period, or even long after. Can be long term. Never well since is the phrase that we often use. Never well since the flu. Never well since a cold. Never well since a virus, something that might have affected the respiratory system. Hyrachna, we use gelsemium. Now, I find gelsemium to be pretty much across the board for fatigue in general. It has a general weakness, but if it's weakness as a result of something like this is the medicine that I would choose. It's one of the first ones I think of. So I think of gelsemium in a 30. I don't use it in a 200. You can. Not that I don't use it. I should say, in general, I use gelsemium for post viral syndrome, whatever it might be called. I use it in a 30. Now, what do we do with that? How often do we use it? Well, I like to use it twice daily. And it's, 12 hours apart, approximately 10 hours apart. But what happens if we use it, let's say we use it for 3 days, and the person feels, oh my gosh, I feel so much better. Holy cow. Then the person could stop using it, right? But then it starts up again 4 days later. Oh, no, here it is back again. Okay, it doesn't mean that the medicine didn't work. What it means is that the medicine needs to be reinstated. And so we start it up again. So now we know that about 3 or 4 days after, for example, that the problem returns, then we know we can't go 3 or 4 days without taking it. So now let's try using it instead of twice a day every day. Let's try using it twice a day every 3 days. And if every 3 days, twice daily works, we go with it. And we can stay with that for weeks. Testing back, always looking for that tipping point. At what point does it start no longer being needed? Or at what point does it no longer need to be used? Then we back off again. And we're always looking for that tipping point. At what point do we need it? It's not unlike, think of it this way. When you used to take aspirin for a headache, I used to take aspirin for headaches. When you used to take aspirin for a headache, does it mean that you take the aspirin forever? No. Do you take the aspirin for as long as you need it? Yes. That's exactly the same thing. This is medicine. Remember, we're not talking about supplements. We're not talking about vitamins. We are talking about something that is a medicine that will stimulate the body's ability to make the correction. This is not about suppressing symptoms, it's like steroids or something like that. No, this is uprooting the condition, and we're looking at what point we can back off from having to count on that. Yes. Does gelsemium help with fatigue with low oxygen levels around 90? Gelsemium is very specific for fatigue. Now, there are other medicines that we can also consider here. And another one somebody brought up was phosphoric acid. You bet. I like phosphoric acid. It's a very, very good choice. Now, phosphoric acid is not just fatigue. It's it can be associated with fatigue and surrounded by the use of drugs. The person has used drugs and it's caused trouble. They tried this drug, then they tried that drug, then they tried this one, or they're on many drugs, and that has caused trouble as well. And with phosphoric acid, the person is fatigued, but it's almost like they're like a dish rag. It's more than fatigue, it is also flatness, a lack of joie de vivre. They don't have any interest in life. It feels like they just leave me alone. Everyone, just all I want to do is just lay here on the sofa and I don't know, well, watch some television or something. That is the way phosphoric acid feels. Now and I would use phosphoric acid in the same fashion, only I would use phosphoric acid in a 200. You bet I would use it that way. Phosphoric acid 200 twice a day, once again, for a few days and see how things go. And then play it by ear, just the way I described the gelsemium. Now, there are other medicines. I really like eupatorium. And I like this eupatorium the way Joe de Oliveira uses it. He uses it in water, puts a few pills into, a dose, 5, 6 pills into a bottle of water and pours out some of the water at the top, then puts the pills in, closes the cap up, and then waits for it to dissolve and then shakes it. So it leaves some of the water out so that the water can be shaken. And a dose per day is a good tablespoon or a good swallow per day. And that is not only useful for convalescence, for true convalescence in this situation, but also it's useful to protect against the next potential respiratory infection, sinuses, um, um, to use it in a 1M, and I've certainly talked about that too, but I also like that very much in a 200 potency. Let's see what else everybody else is coming up with. Now, not getting enough air, not getting enough oxygen. Now, often just using gelsemium, phosphoric acid, or eupatorium, that will bring it round to the ability to utilize the oxygen properly. But what else we've got here? Um, does gelsemium work for? I'll go on to another one in a moment. Does gelsemium work for chronic fatigue or just fatigue after illness? It can work. Can be very strongly considered for chronic fatigue, but we're talking today about specifically fatigue after an illness. Yes, absolutely. Now, also. Dolu says antimonium tart, 30 or 200, and just in just a 6 for the fair. I'm not sure what exactly she's saying here, but yes, antimonium tart can be a very good medicine that is for heaviness in the chest. Stana metallica. I'm just going to give you some of the big ones for breathlessness and heaviness in the chest. But I will also say that eupatorium can be miraculous, my friends, for the chestiness, the breathlessness, the fatigue, the overall picture. Now, what I'm also hearing from folks is that they feel better, they come around, and then 2 weeks later, 2 months later, whatever it might be, they feel like they're getting sick again. And what I love is one of the Banerjee protocols for that, and that's aconitum 200 mixed with bryonia 30, because it's as though we're starting afresh. Certainly the immune system has been compromised, most likely, if it's coming back over and over again. But I love aconitum 200 with bryonia 30 every 3 to 12 hours, depending on how severe it is, and then we back off. And the beauty of homeopathy is that as symptoms improve, we back off of the need for it and we back off of using it. All right, let's see what else we've got here. Why not Kelly Foss? Yeah, Kelly Foss could certainly help. Yeah, it has to do with central nervous system, absolutely. But I don't see this as a central nervous system issue. I see this as an immune issue, as a viral issue. Could Kelly Foss help? Yes, it potentially could help. But let's talk about the idea of sulfur. Anybody think of sulfur when I talked about this too? I love for 30 twice daily for when someone is not convalescing fully, regardless of what it's from. Sulfur 30 has been a very good medicine for a lot of people that I've worked with. Sulfur 30 twice a day, and then using that until the person feels better, right? Until they feel better. When they feel better, then you back off. If it returns, then you commence using it again. Absolutely. This is not these are not coughing remedy. Now, I shouldn't say that eupatorium could be very good for a cough. Yes, the cough is a hard one to figure out. Coughs are not as difficult as you might think. And if you use my blog, I'll bet you'll find some information that you might be looking for. And let's see, somebody wrote, antimony and tart may be the best with cough, but there are a lot of remedies to consider for coughing. Yes, there are, but when it's a nagging cough or a cough, 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 cough. So it's episodic of machine gun coughing. Then I automatically, now this is not for necessarily for the immune system in general, but it's certainly for coughing. Let's see if anybody knows. I know you guys are going to know. I know you are. Let's see what you come up with. I want to tell you, and then I thought, no. I think let's see what everyone comes up with. Yep, lingering sinus congestion. Yeah, eupatorium, aconitum bryonia. Yes, I think you're right about that. But there's another one for coughing incessantly. Let's see. I have a lot of students here from my. I see a couple of students from my academy, and I see plenty of students from the Gateway to Homeopathy. You got it, Lisa. Ipecac. Yep. Sanguinary is not a bad one, but Judy. Nice job. Nice job, Barbara. You bet. Ipecac. Ipecac is a great medicine for cough, 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 cough. Cough, 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 cough. Stick is a good medicine too. I gotta say, Ipecac is making me cough just breathing in like that. Ipecac. Cuprum could also be good. These are all really good choices. You bet. Now, how I wish I knew this all 3 years ago. You bet, Jill. You bet. Dulcamara is a good remedy. Ipecac. Ipecac. And listen, you don't have to be coughing to the point of gagging, but if there is that, if the person does have coughing until they gag, and it doesn't have to be a gag every time they cough, but if you see a little bit of that, then you have to start thinking about Ipecac. Ipecac 30. It's super severe, and it's just this person is really suffering. I would personally use it every 3-6 hours. But if it's not so severe, then I might, or even every hour if it's very severe. And then I would go with twice a day. And what does it matter if the cough is at night? You tell me, friends. Does it matter if the cough is at night? Let's see what everyone says. So glad to hear that Ipecac 6 helped me with the long haul. Thank you, Alice, for telling us. I usually use Ipecac in a 30, but in a 6, it's good too. And Ipecac, let's see, Drosera, those are all very good choices, my friends. Very good choices. Ipecac, you're getting it. Drosera is a good cough remedy. Anytime, Jennifer says. Doesn't matter, says Judy. Is there any help for someone who gets sick whenever they are around transmitting people? The various prophylactics from the past 2 years have been tried unsuccessfully. Even the eupatorium 1 per Joe hasn't worked. Yes, try these others. Yes, try these other medicines. Absolutely. Based on, what do you mean by getting sick? I mean, I'm not asking you to answer this for me, but if it's a cough, then you might be thinking about Ipecac. If it's a if it feels like they're getting sick every time, then it could be aconitum 200 bryonia 30. Absolutely. Let's see what everyone else is saying here. Sick whenever they're around transmitting people. And that also, by the way, is a keynote of sulfur 30, is when someone gets sick anytime they're around others that are making them sick. I mean, it's just, they keep getting sick over and over and over. Now, for those of you who've taken my course, Alternatives to Antibiotics, you know that we've got other medicines that we could use here, right? There are a lot of medicines that we could consider. I'm telling you the top medicines that I think of right off the top of my head. And what about this? I haven't seen anybody talk about. Um, yeah, good. Look at you're helping each other. I just love it. Somebody says, "What about postnasal drip?" And then Aaron hops in and says, "Sanguinaria is great postnasal drip." Love it. Absolutely love it. You guys are great. This is why this community matters. This really matters. I'm reading right now from my Mighties, and I'm also seeing on Facebook people are helping each other. It's so darn good. Magphos can be useful for spasms, but it's not my first choice here. It's a very good. It's good thinking, but it's not my first choice. Let's see what else we've got here. Ipecac. See, everybody's getting it. I just love this. I love when you are so astute, my friends. You've been studying. You've been learning. Faramphos has helped us. I read that. I think. What about reaction the to the vaccine? We're not talking about that tonight. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I have talked about it before, and I may do it again. It's a whole different subject. Oh, lost smell and taste, which hasn't totally returned. Been over a year. Yeah, yeah. Now I've talked about that on my blog as well, and so I find that zinc can be very useful. Sanguinaria can be very useful. So these are also um, salt can be useful. I've used all three of those. Some people have distorted sense of smell. It's not that it's lost; it's that it's a distortion. I also find that foods high in zinc can be very useful, or even just taking zinc, zincum metallicum 30, zincum metallicum 200. You bet. You bet. Oh, Harry, you're so sweet. Yeah. Coughing with burning in the throat, my friends. Isn't that interesting? Anybody know what we now? We've already talked about a medicine. Yeah, Squilla for lost taste and smell. That's right, Jessica. That's another good one. But anybody know and the medicines that we've talked about so far, any of them have burning? Let's see what everybody comes up with. Sounds like a cereal, doesn't it? When the tickle in the throat is maddening. Yeah, can be very good. Listen, when I tell you that this medicine will be good for that, it doesn't mean it's the only one. I hope you understand it's one of the main ones. Would you say lyco well, arsenicum can have burning? You're right about that, but dolu, sulfur. You got it. You got it. Sulfur, Megan. You got it. Kate says sulfur. Rachna, sulfur. Yes, sulfur has burning. So if you've got two legs to that stool now, you've got one leg which is they're not convalescing properly. They've never been well since that illness. Sulfur could be a very good medicine, but sulfur also happens to have specific characteristics other than that, and one of them is burning. Melinda, yes, burning. Absolutely. That's the way this works. You see, if you possibly can, you want to try to keep this so that you've got a couple legs of the stool holding up your argument for the choice of the medicine. What about odd body odor? Since having the thing, some of my family members have it. Okay, here we go again. Let's do it again. We've got just a few minutes, and I knew we were going to come up with this. So we've got fatigue, right? I'm assuming, or odd body odor, and what about sulfur for loss of taste and smell? Yeah, it's definitely one that we could use. Absolutely. What about odd body odor? Anybody know? We just talked about it. I've just expounded on that medicine. Let's see what comes here. I think it's going to come. I think you folks are going to know. Sulfur. Yes. Sulfur has bad body odor. Creosotum also, you're right, but I would go with sulfur because it's post-viral and it's never well since, right? Sulfur. Thank you, Jennifer and Jill. Yes, absolutely. Good job. Oh, you guys are great. Megan, sulfur again. So sulfur has heat or burning.
Sulfur has never been well since. Sulfur can have loss of taste and smell, and sulfur has an odd smell or a bad smell. It's more often considered a bad smell to the body or the breath or anywhere on the body. Yes, Diane. Yes, sulfur. Nice job. Very, very nice job. You guys are great. Beverly says sulfur too. Yes. Merc Soul can have an odd odor too. It's absolutely so. Nicole says sulfur. Oh, you are the best, my friends. You are the best. See why this community and all of these communities around homeopathy really, really matter. Stay with this. If stay with any group that you're in. If you're in a study group, any one of my study groups, stay there. Return to the study group. Keep going. You can take that study group course over and over and over again. Gateway 1, Gateway 2. Why not? You get to know people, you learn new things. So, does it have a sulfur smell? It does not need to be a sulfuric smell. Doesn't have to be that. Yep. Post exercise smell. Creosotum is a good remedy for odors, for bad odors, but it's for never well since a virus. That's why I didn't include it here. I love you too, Harry. Perry. Harry says we love you, and Perry. Harry, you're the best. When you feel the area just gives you a traveling heat sensation only in the right leg. This is what I want you folks to do. If you're not sure, open up your Materia Medica and read up on sulfur. Open up your Materia Medica and read up on aconitum and then bryonia, so you understand why we would mix those together. Open up your Materia Medica and read up on eupatorium. That's how you're going to really learn this. Yes. Sulfur only if smell is after an illness, not exercise. That's right. Well, if exercise causes an odor, that's kind of within the range of normal. But if the odor is not within the range of normal and it doesn't take much, now I would say it could still be considered. Yes, thank you, Joette. I love Mondays. I do too. I look forward to this all weekend long. Let's see. We are here on the Mighties page. It seems to be working well. Good. Glad to hear it. Somebody says Candida Overgrowth. Look at my blog, my friends, for Candida. Because what does Candida Overgrowth mean? Are we talking about in the mouth? Vaginally? On the skin? Systemically? Don't assume just because it's any one of those places. On the nursing mother's nipples? Where is that? Where is that? That's the way you're going to use it. What organ is being affected, my friends? Not what microorganism. It's what organ is being affected. Our Gateway 2 group it's got on a signal messaging app, and we help each other with whatever comes up, community healthcare. You have got it. That's exactly what we should all be doing. And many are. Many are. You know, I have a story of a mother who actually, a woman, I should say, I've written it on the blog. Actually, she wrote it. She was part of one of my groups, study groups. She and her husband were traveling in South America. They were at a wine tasting event out in wine country. And as the person handed the glass of wine to her husband, it shattered in his hand and it severed his tendon. And he began bleeding heavily. It was a very shocking event for him and for her. She had her backpack with her, and in her backpack was her phone and her homeopathy kit. And so, of course, there were no cabs. They were out in wine country. So it took a while to get somebody to pick them up. And meanwhile, she started to text her friends that she had been in these study groups with and said, anybody have any ideas? Please help us. He's severed his tendon is severed. He's bleeding heavily. He's passing out. What can we do? And her friends started to come back and guide her. She couldn't think straight. Why? Because it was her husband. And she was wrapping his hand up, trying to keep the blood from from having lost too much blood. And so her friends directed her on what to put in his mouth, how often, who were their friends? Her friends in her study groups. That, my friends, is exactly how this should work. Now, she wrote to me and told me this story, and then her husband wrote and said, I confer, that's exactly what happened. And it was her friends across the hemisphere, across the pond, that were helping her. That's the way this is supposed to work. And so it is now half past the hour plus 1 minute, and I have to dash off. And it's so great to see all of you. I love you all. And I will see you next week. And I promise we'll do more good stuff then. See you then, my friends. Have a great week. Bye.